Okay. So now we are live. Now we are starting. Okay. So yeah, good day everyone, and a very warm welcome to Ms. Rehana Sher. Ms. Rehana, we are truly, honored to have you join us today. I know your schedule is hectic, but given your expertise and remarkable value you bring, I couldn't pass on the opportunity for our fellows to learn directly from you. So let me, tell a bit about our group of fellows. So our fellows mainly come from Pakistan and Afghanistan, and one of them
Mhm.
is from Zimbabwe. And a few of them are already working in the HR field with 1 or 2 years of, experience under their belts.
Mhm.
And, they are navigating environments where, leadership often feels like an uphill climb, and especially for women. And that's exactly why, we needed you here today. And those of you who do not know about Ms. Rehana, Ms. Rehana brings, over 15 years of banking experience from institution like JS Bank and NIB, where she has honed her expertise in branch operations, customer centric services, and relationship management. But what makes her perspective truly powerful is that she didn't stop there. Today, she leads the coaching division at Possibilities Global, where she serves as executive coach, where she's supporting individuals and teams in elevating their performance and enhancing their leadership capabilities. And Mr. Hana believes deeply in untapped, potential within every individual, and her mission is to help people realize that that potential through strategic guidance and transformative coaching experiences. And today's session, which is on leading with grace, women in leadership, isn't about textual, textbook theories or generic, leadership frameworks. This is about real, grounded, and lived experience. Mr. Hannah is here to, inspire you with her journey and equip you with the mindset, courage, and, some of the practical tools that will be helpful to you to lead with confidence, empathy, and grace in any field. Okay. So I'm really excited that all of you will be able to engage with Mr. Hannah, ask questions with her, and, make the most out of this truly meaningful opportunity. So, Mr. Hana, the floor is all yours, and welcome once again to Women Ascension.
Thank you so much, Jannat. Thank you for having me, first of all, and giving me that, very comprehensive introduction of mine. It's always a pleasure to be here on the platform of Women Ascension. And as Jannat has told every single woman out there here in this session, it's always great whenever it comes to mentoring women, whenever it comes to talking about women, about their growth, about their leadership, about how to lead with grace and stuff. So I welcome you all here, and I really want to appreciate that you took time out and you showed up because I feel like whenever you are in your life, no matter what stage you are at, it's always about growth. It's always about learning more. It's always about leading with grace. So, as you all know, that our today's topic is also about leadership. It's also about grace, leading with grace, women in leadership. So, I'm glad that you all showed up and showed that interest that you really want to learn about leadership, about your career journey, about your growth, how to be more graceful, how to lead with grace. This is all that matters at the end of the day. So it's great. And Janet, I would like to ask you, is my screen visible to every single participant here?
Yes, ma'am, your screen is
Okay,
visible.
perfect. So as I shared, leading with grace, women in leadership, grace is not softness. First of all, this is what I want to mention because whenever we hear this word grace, it's not just about softness. Grace is power with dignity. It's leading in a world that wasn't always designed for you and doing it without losing yourself. Because of course, every single scenario is going to be different for every single person. whenever you are stepping into a room, whenever you are stepping into a new career, or anywhere in the world, in any field of life. It's not particularly designed for every single person, right? There'll be multiple challenges, there'll be multiple opportunities for all of us, which we all need to, embrace. And we should know how to go for that particular opportunity. So it's always about embracing that opportunity or tackling that challenge with grace, right? So I always say that grace is the combination of calm power plus grounded confidence. This is how I define grace, right? So when we move forward, since we are talking about, of course, leadership, leadership is not about being in charge, it's about taking care of those in your charge. So always keep in mind that whenever we say we are a leader at the moment, or whenever we are given this opportunity, it shouldn't be like, I'm in power. So, I am going to be the boss and stuff like that. This has to be about taking care of your people in your surrounding. And that taking care could be about, empathizing with them, providing them that challenging environment where they can grow, giving them opportunities, delegating. I mean, there are lots of leadership traits that you have to give to every single person out there. So I feel like Simon Sinek has defined it very well that taking care of those in your charge is very important. Before starting the session, I was just, reading a couple of other things on leadership as well. And now one of the thing is that you have to be a leader who believes in creating impact, not just the recognition. That was basically about, there are some leaders who are not always visible, who are not always on front. They're sometimes back somewhere, in the maybe they're creating the entire stage for their people, but sometimes they're not visible. The teams are actually there to take all the credit, but it's not like that. When you are a leader, it shouldn't be that you have to be visible or you should be recognized. No, you have to set the ground for your people in a way that one day when they'll be leading, they will always reach out to you saying that you were the one who made us capable enough, who made us come to this position that we have achieved these milestones. And that's actually your real growth. That's actually your achievement. So always believe that leadership is taking care of your people in your surrounding. And also, leadership, when we talk about leadership, it's one thing have to be in mind that your purpose, your direction has to be very clear. If you're like, there is lots of clutter, there is lots of noise in your surrounding, you would not be able to lead with purpose. You'd not be able to figure it out where to go. And of course, the same is going to be for the people that how come they are going to, obey or follow the person who does not even know his direction or his purpose. So it's very important that your direction has to be clear so that you lead with clarity. And this is what I've written here. Great leadership begins with purpose. When leaders know what drives them, every step they take has meaning and focus. Purpose fuels energy, builds resilience, and strengthens commitment. So, yeah, that has to be clear. And when we talk about women, right, it's always that women has to face lots of challenges. It's not like, for a women, when she becomes a leader, it's not always like a man is leading. There are multiple biasness, there's multiple challenge as well for her to lead. So I put it this way: women when women lead, they redefine what leadership can look like. inclusive, strategic, and deeply human. Their presence shifts the narrative for everyone around there, right? So this should be seen for every single person out there, wherever she is leading, no matter it's the organization, no matter it's the institution or home or any other place to lead. You know, she has to keep in mind all those biases, right? How to navigate them, how to lead like an actual leader. So, my perspective on this is that when we say that the women is going to lead, we say leading as a woman comes with a unique set of realities. We face expectations that are, sometimes unspoken, sometimes unfair, and sometimes contradictory. You're expected to be confident, but not too confident, right? Warm, but not too emotional. Strong, but not too assertive. Ambitious, but not too ambitious. So, it's about like keeping that balance. And these are all the factors which are supposed to be there for all the women when they are going to be a leader. These are the, expectations that people have from all of us women. So we have to be very specific about that. And very often, women carry what I call invisible labor, emotional glue that keeps team together, managing conflicts quietly, caring for well-being, absorbing pressure that others don't see. This is leadership, but it's rarely acknowledged as such. So when we talk that women are often evaluated differently, it's like a man would be quite decisive, but a woman is difficult. If we keep that tone, if we lead like them. So we have to keep that balance. A man is confident, a woman is aggressive. A man is strategic, a woman is overthinking. So, creating a balance is always required. So, understanding these biases is not about complaining, it is about awareness. And awareness is something that gives us power. When you know the terrain, you navigate it with intention, not confusion. I say it the most common way. People, Jannat, I just got a intimation. This meeting is being transcribed for AI companion. Is that okay? Should I say
Um,
okay to that?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, so when I say the most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. This is what Alice Walker has said, right? So also, I would like to mention here that when we talk about grace, one other thing comes to my mind. Grace, as I told you, is the combination of two. But then again, grace is power with poise. Grace is clarity without aggression. Grace is strength with softness, courage with calmness. And it is one of the most underestimated leadership capabilities women bring naturally. So we have to be proud of that. But before we go deeper, I want to acknowledge something. Leading as a woman today is not simple, as I told you earlier. It is filled with contradictions and expectations that men often don't have to navigate. And today we'll be exploring more about that. We'll go deeper into that. Okay, so if we move ahead, here comes the next slide. As you might have seen it, I've told you about their realities or about the biasness that women usually are supposed to navigate. The unspoken pressures, being always prepared, feeling the need to prove credibility every time, balancing ambition without being labeled too much. So there are lots of factors that we have to keep in mind when we lead. Right. So here comes the realities and biases women face. Women are often evaluated differently. As I said earlier, a woman is decisive, a woman is difficult, a man is confident, a woman is aggressive, right? A man is strategic, a woman is overthinking. So this is what usually the society thinks about when a woman tries to be a little bold, a little, kind of overthinker or a little ambitious at times. But we have to keep in mind that we have to set those boundaries for ourselves, as well as we have to prove ourselves as confident leader as well. So, how can a woman overcome all these barriers? I always say that when you set boundaries for yourself, that's one thing which makes you enable that, creates opportunities for you. At the same time, that makes you that people in your surrounding are not going to leverage the, any kind of leverage, I would say. I mean, that could be any like false misinterpretation or any other factor that comes your way. So when you put those boundaries, you're always going to feel secure. And understanding leadership with grace means, what does graceful leadership look like? Grace is not about staying quiet, as I always say. It's about being nice. And it's not about avoiding conflicts at all. So, grace is character, grace is emotional discipline, and grace is how you show up when situations become difficult. Leading with grace means you stay composed even when room is tense. You respond instead of react. You speak the truth clearly, not harshly. You make decisions aligned with your values. You extend empathy without becoming a people pleaser. So, grace is not weakness. Grace, I say, is controlled strength that you have to keep always in front of you. And as Pro Winfrey says, grace is the ability to redefine the boundaries of what is possible. So, always know your boundaries. Right. And when we talk about strengthening and communication and confidence, it's our next slide. Okay. Overcoming barriers without losing yourself is types of barriers women face. So, first barrier is gender bias, not being taken seriously initially, voice or body language being interpreted differently, being the only women in the room, stereotype driven expectations. These are all the expectations or barriers that we as women have to face. And how can a woman overcome without compromising these, without compromising her identity? So there are basically four factors that she is supposed to keep in mind. First is lead with clarity, not apology. What does that mean? Replace I'm sorry, but don't say this. Instead, say, here's what I recommend whenever you speak in a row in front of the audience and while taking any other decision. So always start with, here's what I recommend, not I'm sorry, but this is not how you should start. And then replace I just wanted to with I would like to highlight. Don't say I just wanted to. Say I would like to highlight whenever you're going to start any conversation or any decision. Then number two is build credibility with consistency. Show expertise through actions, not constant justifications. Allow your results to speak before you feel the need to defend them. Then number three is stay anchored in your values. I always say that never ever compromise on your values, no matter what the circumstances are. Never compromise on your values. So do not trade authenticity for approval. Your voice is your presence. Always keep it. And number four is build your circle of allies. There is always a scene politics within the organizations. So try to build your allies within the organizations who can take stand for you, right? So identify mentors, sponsors, and champions. Women leaders grow faster when supported, not when isolated. So these are four important factors that a woman should keep in mind to overcome without compromising identity. So here comes another quote in my mind. Your energy introduces you before you speak. So make sure it reflects who you truly are. Always keep in mind that. Right. So next we'll talk about leadership styles that empower others. Leadership, no matter that is being, taken charge by the leader as a man or as a woman, there are four leadership styles. First is collaborative leadership. This invites participation, strengthens team ownership, builds trust faster. This is the first type of leadership. Then there comes empathy driven leadership, understands people beyond tasks, encourages psychological safety, reduces silent disengagement. Uh, then comes the third type, which is inclusive leadership, creates belonging, values diverse thinking, brings voices that are often ignored. And then comes the fourth type of leadership, which is purpose driven leadership that aligns work with meaning, motivates through shared values. This type of leadership is often seen within the organizations because there we see all the goals or the purposes are the same. And this is where the role of the leader comes. And he's supposed to go for this purpose driven leadership. So when the leader is going to choose their people to work on one specific goal, which is aligned with the organization, he usually goes for purpose driven leadership. Okay, so why these styles matter? Now, when we talk about leadership, what is the purpose of that? To make your entire team one as one who can follow one goal and who can collectively achieve one purpose. So here comes a quick look of why these styles actually matter. Teams feel seen and valued when the leader goes for these type of leadership styles. Their teams feel seen and valued. They feel like, our opinion matters. We are given the chance to speak or take the lead. So the first point is covered in that. And then innovation increases. Yes, that is also true. When your people are given chance to speak up or to go for the innovations for the new projects and stuff, there comes the point where they actually feel that they were given the chance and they'll be open about their ideas. So this is where the innovation comes, and this is how new ideas inculcate within the organizations, and the new things or ideas are being introduced, and that's how the projects work actually. And then conflict reduces, of course, when everyone is given the chance to speak, when everyone is given the chance to, take lead, they feel like they're being valued. And that's how they do not feel like they're being ignored or anything, because conflicts arise usually when they're not given the chance or when they are, not valued. So that's how the conflict reduces. And then there comes the performance becomes sustainable. Absolutely. Their performance when the group of people see that our leader trusts us, he empathizes with us, that means their performance is going to rise and they are going to be consistent in whatever they are doing. They would feel more valued, and that's how the purpose of the organization is going to be achieved. And that's what makes a leader a good leader. I always say this. Okay, then leading with grace during adversity. Why is it important? Adversity is something that is, part and parcel of every leadership. In fact, it's the part of life, I would say. So, a good leader is one. who, keeps in mind that there could be uncertainty or there could be adversity at any point of time. So he has to be well prepared. And he has to make his people well prepared as well. So the how a leader is going to lead with grace during those days is important. Why? Okay, so let's see first high pressure decision making, then conflict within teams, then organizational uncertainty. These are the types of adversities that usually a leader faces. Then personal challenges, overlapping with work, being scrutinized more harshly. These are all kind of challenges that we as a women, when we are going to go into the roles that require leadership, or even in our careers, or even at our home, maybe, because there the role of a woman plays very important role. Why? Because of course it's to some extent, not to some extent, I would say 80% of the responsibility is always on women, where they're supposed to be, very dynamic. They have to manage everything at home, and that's how she builds the room where he, pleasantly with the family, for the husband, for the kids, for the, all the other siblings, or anybody who is present at the home. So there comes her role. It's not just about any organization only. So this is where he has to keep all these adverse factors in mind, and has to know about, how to tackle them. So let's get to know how women should go to tackle all these rules with grace. So these are, I would say, I've divided them into five parts, which is first includes respond, don't react. I always say it that, whenever there is something bad or good is happening in front of you, try to respond to that. Don't immediately react to that. First, assess that, and then go for that. How to tackle that? How to respond or then react for that situation. So take a breath before making your next move. Grace is the pause between emotion and action. Then number two is communicate transparently. Say, here's what we know, here's what we are working on, here's what we need from each other, so that there comes a transparency in communication. When you make all these things clear, your team is going to get all the purposes in his mind clear, and that's when they would be coming up with different ideas. So always be transparent in your communication. And then number three is stay grounded in dignity. No matter the chaos around you, choose composure, be relaxed. I always say this, right? Stay grounded in dignity. I mean, when you are like, a pressure is coming to you and you are like, haphazardly doing anything which comes your way, your team is going to get, frustrated also. So you have to be role model for all of them. And when you are composed and sound and relaxed, that's how they will feel safe more. And that's how they are going to learn from you. When they would be seeing a leader, in attention, under pressure, automatically they are going to be, be in the pressure as well. And that's when things go even worse. So always stay composed. Number four is maintain boundaries. Grace does not mean tolerating disrespect. Grace is strength with self respect. Then, number five is move forward with clarity. What is my role in creating the next best step? More forward, clarity means you are well prepared for the next steps, what are going to come your way. So a leader is, somebody who can't foresee things, but at least he should be well prepared what might come their way. So he should know how to lead when, an unforeseen situation comes in front of him or her. So always be prepared for that. Grace is that strength that shows up quietly but changes everything. I'm sure you'll all agree with that. Right, here's a little chart that I've made for you all. Okay, how many of you have heard about the, you know, growth mindset? I've been talking these days very much about growth mindset. We always hear there's a mindset, fixed mindset sometimes, and we have heard there's a growth mindset sometimes, right? But the people only grow when they have this growth mindset, not when they have this fixed mindset. And that is one of the qualities of a leader, that he or she should have a growth mindset. And that only becomes when you are open for new ideas, when you are open for new challenges, for new opportunities, when you get to know that, okay, this is the situation, right? And this is not the situation that I've dealt earlier as well. This time I have to deal it with as per the scenario, as per the opportunities available in those times. Not, you do not try to find excuses. Try to find solutions. No matter how many resources do you have, go for the resources that you have ready at the moment in that particular duration. That's the growth mindset. People often ask me, what is growth mindset? Growth mindset is, of course, something that one thing is that you have to be well prepared. You have to be open for the new ideas, for the new learnings. Do not ever think that you know everything. No, we are all students till our last breath. People think that our school is done, we know everything. We have covered all the courses, we know everything, we have learned everything. But that's how it is. We are supposed to learn till our last breath. So always make that thing part of your life, no matter somebody is junior in your surrounding, somebody is senior in your surrounding. Always think that, I am supposed to learn if I can. If somebody ever tries to prove you wrong, take that in a positive way. During my, morning drive today when I was coming to office, I was just taking a listen to a podcast where they were also talking about the growth mindset and, general mindsets. So he was Adil Hashmi was many of you have heard maybe about Adil Hashmi. He was sharing one of his experiences that he was just having this normal conversation with a person who was an intellect, but an Asian Pakistani who has been lived all his life abroad. And he was just, having this normal argument, general argument. And he asked him that, he was actually talking about his teenagers when Adil Hashmi used to be in his teens. And he was like, that's basically a time when we all feel that, we know everything. Oh, it's going to be an honor that I prove this person wrong in front of me. And when he said this, that, sir, I can prove you wrong on this, he shared one of his ideas. And that person in response said to him, though he was like quite intellect, and he took that, sentence as a positive thought. And he said to him that, I would love to hear this idea. I would love to be proven wrong. And Adil Hashmi was like, normal mentality says, we kind of get offended when someone tells us that, how come this person is going to prove us wrong? No, we are going to be arrogant at that point of time. But no, this is not. We should always give chance to others as well to share their perspective as well, because you never know when you are going to learn from that particular incident or that particular thought or that particular idea that is being shared in front of you. So be open, be always open for all the learnings. That's my belief. Right? So moving back to our slide, we were talking about building a growth focused leadership mindset. A growth focused mindset changes everything. So I've made some of the shifts. A growth mindset would always say progress, not perfection. I would always say that I'm not perfect. There is still room for improvement. I want to progress more. I want to learn more. Then fear of failure. Why you have to be always under the pressure of failure? Instead, make learning part of your journey, career journey, life journey, your any journey. So make learning part of that. Comparison, self mastery. Always go for the self mastery. Do not ever compare yourself with anybody else. You are, no one else is your comparison. You are only the one who is your comparison. So go for the self mastery. Doubt to evidence based confidence. So this is what helps us all to go for a growth focused mindset. And that's how a leader stands out. Then I focus more on building your own leadership identity. That is very important. Women often ask, how do I become the leader others expect me to be? Instead, you should ask, the real question has to be, what kind of leader do I want to be? First, get to know about your identity. Because if you do not know your identity, if you do not know about your values, if you do not know your purpose, how come you are going to lead with confidence? So always ask yourself, what kind of leader do I want to be? Know your whys, know your what, know your purposes. So make sure that you are clear inside out whenever you are going to lead. Right. Then use these prompts to define your identity. I've put them under four areas. First is value. What do I stand for, even when it's difficult? Leadership voice. Try to recognize your leadership voice. How do I want people to experience me? Am I going to get to know about myself more? Should I be confident leader? Should I be calm, decisive, supportive, strategic? What kind of leadership voice should I have? Then purpose. Define your purposes. What impact do I want my leadership to have? Legacy. What will people remember about my presence? A leader is one who always believes in building legacy. Some of us, you know, keep working on the recognition for the rest of our lives. We do not ever focus on why the legacy is important to be built. We never focus on that. So try to focus that what legacy do you want to, build for yourself that people will be, knowing you for at the after you are no more in this world. So always try to make that part of it. Right. And then I would say your leadership identity should not be borrowed. It should be built. Please do not follow others when it comes to building your own identity. Do not borrow it. Make your own ideas clearer. Think what your strength is. Think what your purpose is to be here in this world. Think what your values are. And then define your leadership according to that. Define your identity according to that. So I've deliberately put an exercise here for you that you do not have to do right away. You can take note of this one question. Complete this sentence. I lead with grace when I dash. You have to put that one or two words in this dash after this session ends. Maybe you can share those the points later on with me here on LinkedIn or with Jannat or on the post that is going to be shared by Women Ascension here. I'll be more than happy to see what kind of identity you want to build for yourself. So it's a brief exercise for all of you. And any other questions that you would like to, me to answer, I'll be more than happy to answer all your questions as well. So overall, this session, I liked it a lot. The topic was great and the audience was great, I'm sure. And I'm sure you guys have lots of questions. I'm done with my content for now, and I would like to take your questions.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rehana. It
You're
was
welcome.
lovely to hear from you. Truly,
Thank
it
you.
was.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Um. Okay. Um. Yeah. So while all of them are okay, there is already a question. Okay, in the chat box. So the
Mhm.
fellow Mahnur wants to ask that how do we deal with the issue of glass ceiling and then gender stereotypes that prevail in the society?
Mhm. Okay, I'm just trying to reach to the question. How should we deal with the issue of glass ceiling? Okay, and gender stereotypes. Okay, so this is Mahnur Rahman, right?
Yes.
Okay, Mahnur. First of all, when we talk about stereotypes and when we talk about gender biasness, I always say that work on your confidence. And that does not come with comparison, that comes with competency. Work on yourself. You do not have to prove to every single person yourself. You just have to show your strength, your capabilities. The more kind of speak or give justifications, the more you lose your credibility. Focus on your competencies. That's I would say a short answer from my side.
While the others are preparing their questions, I would want to ask you that what was that one mind set shift that helped transform how you approach leadership? You've talked about a lot of mind shifts, but I want to
Hmm.
ask which one worked for you, how you have redesigned your leadership.
Okay. Um, I feel like Jannat, going for leadership, I feel it's a big task. We all talk a lot about leadership. Saying is a little easier comparatively. But when you actually, go into that, you have to work a lot on yourself. So
Yeah.
first thing that I feel like, I always say that whenever you are jumping into leadership role, make sure that your purpose is clear. What kind of purpose you are going to have in your I won't say in organization, because organization has common purposes. So your people have to be focused on that one purpose. So if you're leading within an organization, make sure that your people are aligned with that purpose. But in general, if you are going to be a leader in other roles of your life, then make sure that you are clear. As I mentioned during the session as well, try to keep aside all the noises and make clear all the clutters. The more you're clearer, the more easier it is going to be a leader. And I feel people do not follow the noises and clutters. They only follow the path where they feel valued, where they find a clear purpose, where they're given that one particular goal, which they feel like this is going to add value to their life when they are going to follow that leader. So make sure that you're clear on that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
So, any other questions? Do we have any other questions? Gulalai, Musta, Kanvi, Korea, anybody home? Well, I have to say it myself.
Mm. I would like to ask you another question, and that's
Yeah,
for
sure.
the fellow.
Sure,
Because,
sure.
I would like that, if you can give them advice to, to them, what kind of advice would you give them who, especially for the fellows who feel that they're not, experienced enough or,
Mhm.
ready to lead yet?
Hmm. Okay. I feel like experience is not something that has to be in hand because, of course, before the session, you told me that some of them are going to be students here at the moment, right? So I feel like as long as you know your values, as long as you know how to communicate clearly, you are ultimately going to achieve one day very soon as a place where you are going to be, announced as a leader. Because I've seen people within the organizations who have gained lots of experience. I mean, I've seen people with the 10 years of experience, 12 years of experience, but they do not know their why. They do not know their purpose. They do not know how to communicate clearly. They do not know how to take a lead, right? And whatever they know, okay, here comes another important thing is that whatever you know, please try to communicate it to the other people in your surrounding as well. Do not keep that knowledge to yourself. Please spread that. If you're afraid that if I'm going to transfer this knowledge to somebody who might be your class fellow or who might be your colleague, please don't do that. Always spread that because that person is not going to take your place ever. And that's not how you are going to elevate it to the next step. No. If you're not going to prepare your successors, if you're not going to transfer your knowledge to your juniors, how come you think to move ahead in your life? How come you think of getting promoted ahead? So, whatever you know, please spread that in your surrounding so that your concept even is going to be more clearer when you are going to communicate it to your juniors. So make sure that you always make that learning part of your life because just reading is not important. Communicating it is also important. Right. So I think we are getting questions now. How can one thrive in leadership who reciprocate the energy from his or her environment? Okay. So that's quite easy. As when I say that know your values, then you do not have to be diverted, right? When you know what you have to do, what you have to achieve, no other environment is going to restrict you. So that's I think one should keep in mind that know your values. Why did I mention that, get to know your identity, get to know what are your values, get to know what are your whys. So do not ever be dependent on the environment in your surrounding. Okay, then Huria says, what are the most effective ways women can demonstrate and strengthen their leadership in conflict affected areas despite the challenges they face? Right. Okay, Huria, there are lots of factors that can help a woman become more effective as a leader. Um, First of all, as I mentioned already as well, that your purpose has to be very clear, right? Your values have to be very stronger. Leader is not when the pressure comes and he gets diluted into that. He kind of gets frustrated because of those pressures. No, leadership is staying calm. When a leader knows his why, when he knows his purpose, when he knows his value, no pressure is going to affect that person. So be make sure that you know all these areas. And then of course, when if you are talking about an organization, then yes, trust your people, build your credibility for them, empathize with them, give them chances to innovations, accept their ideas. And one thing more important, that do not discourage them if they are given a chance of innovation and they get fail. Do not ever discourage them. Give them another chance and see where they were wrong. Try to empathize and help them. So that's how a women is going to be, more empowered. Not just women, a leader is going to be more empowered, and he'll be, trusted by his people more. And this is how new innovations will be coming to the organizations or to the culture, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then Kanvi says, what does leading with grace mean to you personally? Okay. Leading with grace means when the pressure comes your way, do not get discouraged. Do not forget your values. I mentioned that grace does not mean you have to be soft. You have to be, just you have to just say yeses all the time. No, leading with grace is that you should know your boundaries, you should know your self-worth, you should know your self-respect. When you communicate, you should know with confidence. Communicate with confidence, know what you are going to say. Does that make sense where you are saying it? Also, whenever you walk to a room, make people feel your energy, because people can sense it very easily, whatever you are trying to say, whatever you are trying to portray, what you have in your mind, what your energy is like. So make sure that you work on all these things. So this is what grace is basically for me, knowing your self-worth, I guess. Right? And how do you maintain emotional resilience and authenticity in high pressure environments? Working on myself. As I said earlier, that emotional resilience is that working on yourself. When you have that confidence, when you have your credibility, when you believe in yourself, when you do not see other people your competitors, indeed you, by believing in your self-worth, when you communicate and trust what is within you, that's what actually makes you more resilient, and that's what makes you not afraid of any pressure, because you know your self-worth, you know how to lead, you know how to tackle those issues. And one thing should keep in mind, that no matter what happens, nothing is going to happen. So stay calm, stay composed. If you're going to stay composed and calm, only that's the way that you'll be tackling that situation with grace. But if you're going to, make your nerves weaker, and you are going to just focus on the pressure more, not on the solution, this is going to, dilute your energy, and you would not be in a position to like solve that challenge. So stay composed, nothing is going to happen. All it takes is staying composed and finding the solution for that. Because when your nerves are calm, you would be able to get the positive energy, you'd be able to think positively, you'd be able to take solutions for that challenge. So it's that simple, I think. Okay, then how do you balance assertiveness with empathy in decision making? Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, assertiveness. Okay, there are two things. Being assertive does not mean you have to be rude, but you should know what. Again, as a coach, I know how to empathize and how to be assertive. Once you know that you whatever you are saying makes sense, you should also know that how to transfer it to your people as well. right? Empathizing does not mean that you cannot be assertive. Empathizing means, for example, if my junior comes to me and he shares an idea that this is something in my mind that I want to go for, I would take listen to his idea first. I would see where is the room for improvement, and then I would share my opinion as well with him. And then I would ask his approval as well as a junior because I would not like to discourage him. And mutually, we are going to decide that this is one particular thing which is going to work for both the organization and for our people as well. And I'm sure the person is going to be happy because I took listen to his idea as well. I did not reject it right away, and I would be giving my opinion as well as for my expertise, and usually we will be deciding to reach at one stage. So this is how I think is the best way to tackle it. Right. Then we have, what unique strengths do women bring to leadership that should be celebrated rather than downplayed? Yeah, as I told, emotional intelligence, that's something which is there always in a woman. And that is something, empathizing is also a quality of a woman that is always there, which should be celebrated. As a women, men are not, I mean, very good empathizers. They're emotionally not that intelligent as compared to women. So these are two qualities which a woman has, and I think which should be celebrated by them rather than just feeling kind of weak on them. So I think those are important things. Right. So how do you balance assertiveness? This is done. In YouTube,
There is
can
another
you
question.
address that if time allows?
Yeah, we got it from the YouTube. And the question is that what can one do when her confidence is always taken as a threat and people around her think she's showing off?
Okay. During my session, I told it that, unfortunately, we as women are sometimes, when we say, I'm ambitious, in our society, people take it sometimes negative. So we have to maintain that balance, right? Try to see that what are those factors which people think that, which give them that impression that you are trying to show off. Try to be composed when you are communicating your ideas, right? Do not over express whenever you're sharing them. So creating a balance is important. That's something which defines our values as well, and that's something which makes us a kind of balanced leader as well. So I think that is one thing which has to be kept in mind because we always see that people who are over expressive in our surrounding, even in our classes, even in our surroundings at workplace, when somebody is extrovert and he or she tries to deep into everything or express too much, then of course this is something which comes into mind of every other person. So see the where does the balance lie? See that wherever there is a need to give your input, only share that, not every time when it's not even necessary. So try to keep balance. That's how you can cope with that,
Um,
right?
yeah, and I would like a personal advice
Yeah, yeah,
because,
sure.
despite having that self awareness and emotional intelligence, I say that I suffer from self doubt a lot. So, what would you suggest that how should I manage that, self doubt while I am projecting, my confidence as a leader?
Jannat, could you please rephrase your question because there was a little interruption. I could not hear the word.
No worries at all. I'm asking that how do I manage self doubt while I'm
Self-doubt.
projecting confidence as a leader?
Hmm. Okay. When we talk about self-doubt, it's always there. Even sometimes I may, self-doubt as well. But then again, it's up to us. How do we take those things, right? How do we work on ourselves? When you know that I'm a good communicator, right? No matter what, no other person is going to be there who is going to guide you. You know your self-worth. You know that you are, Jannat is a good communicator. So that's going to be there. No one else is going to be, a decision maker about that. So, yes, another important thing is that write down your achievements, write down your feedbacks, write down what you achieved during your previous difficult days. How did you cope with those challenges? That is the thing which is going to make you realize that in those tough times, if you were able to do it, I can do it now as well. So write them down. This is going to make your self-worth more clearer, that this was the time when there was so many challenges and I was struggling with all of them. So if I can, uh, deal with it at that point of time, what's the thing that is stopping me now? I can, I've been through tougher times. It's like not a big deal for me. So that's how you can tackle them.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I mean,
You're
that's
welcome.
really, yeah, effective way in which I can definitely tackle self doubt. It's really, I think I'm really glad to hear that I can do this and I should do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
rather than just doubting
always believe
myself.
that you can always do it. Always believe. Challenges are always in your way as per your capability and your capacity. They never exceed that. So when you believe that, you are going to go for it, you are going to cope with it, nothing is going to stop you, for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I believe so. We have answered quite. You have answered quite a few questions, and I
Yeah.
think there won't be any more of them.
I
So
hope so that I've been able to answer all the questions.
yeah, you have those
Okay.
which were shared have been answered. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So should I give
Okay.
it an end?
Somebody has asked. Okay,
Mhm.
Hafsa has asked something. Okay. So
Okay.
he has asked something scenario based. I think we'll have to read it first.
I think she was agreeing with you. Same, Miss Jannat. Literally, I always self-doubt, especially in the phase when you're continuously getting rejections, messages, and not being selected next time, like this forced me to self-doubt. Of course, Hafsa, I totally agree with you. Because, at the same time, when you face so many rejections, there must be one time when you actually were able to lead, when you actually stand out, right? So when you stood out at that time, think about those achievements, think about all your successes, and know about your capability. Write down all your capabilities and challenges. So I feel like in this world today, there is not even a single person who does not face challenges, who does not doubt their self worth. They do. Everybody does. But as I said earlier, that challenges come our way as per our strengths. They never exceed them. We just need to explore ourselves. We need to just, peep into ourselves deeply. We have to see our strengths. We have to believe in them. And when you believe in those strengths and you make sure that you are going to achieve all these tasks as per your strengths, no power of the world is going to, stop you. You just have to, explore those strengths. So work on them. Figure out what are those strengths which are going to, elevate you, which are going to help you to cope with those challenges. So just explore yourself. I hope I was able to answer that. And most of the time, I started comparing my age with whatever I have done till now. And this really disappoints me. Hafsa, no, disappointment is not something that we should always focus or ever focus. Disappointment is a big no for, every single person in the room and anybody who is even taking listen on the YouTube as well. So disappointments are disappointment, I would say, is not a right word. Never ever disappoint, because the actual word is failure, I say. And you never succeed until you fail. I feel like, a normal success is not like, which is going to teach you anything. Failure actually is the thing which is going to teach you. So be thankful. The more failures you are going to get, the more opportunities you are going to create out of them, the more strengths it is going to give you, the more lessons it is going to teach you. So the people who get failures are actually the real heroes. I always say it. You just have to get to know about your strengths. Only work on them. Disappointment is not a good word. And I always say that if you have never failed, you have never succeeded. You have never learned anything new. If all the success would come your way, you would never be able to explore your more talent. You would never be able to explore new things. You know, the more failures would come your way, the more ways you would get to know how to, tackle them, how to be successful in them. And every time you fail, every time you'll get to learn something new. And that's what makes a person successful.
Truly, truly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we learn a lot from our failures, and yeah, those are very important for us in our journey to be something greater than what
Yes,
we are today. Yeah, definitely.
absolutely. Absolutely. So do not take failures as negative. In fact, try to learn from them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So any other
Yeah,
questions do we have in the room?
I don't think we have any more
Mhm.
questions. So, before then I close the session officially, would you like to add something, ma'am?
Yeah, sure. I would just like to say closing remarks.
Sure.
I would like to just say that as women leaders, we carry something extraordinary. We carry the ability to influence not just through authority, but through presence, not through force, but through clarity, not through fear, but through trust. So I would say your leadership is not defined by how loud you are. Somebody just said to me that, whenever she tries to be a bit louder, people take it the other way. So it's your leadership is never going to be defined how loud you are, but by how grounded, intentional, and authentic you are. So grace is your strength, grace is your power, and it's your leadership. When women rise, the world rises with them. Always keep in mind. You do not need to become someone else to lead. I say your story, your strength, your voice. That is your leadership. Leading with grace means leading with the fulfillness of who you are, not who the world expects you to be. Take great care of yourselves and lead like the great women with grace. More power to you.
Thank you so much, Miss Rana. Thank you so much for these
You're
words.
welcome.
Thank you for being here with us today. We, truly appreciate, that you have taken time out of your schedule to invest in our fellows. And, it means more than us, that the words can express truly.
Thank you,
I'm not.
Jannat. Thank you so much.
So, what you've shared today has been, it was, yeah, truly inspiring. You've reminded us that, leadership isn't about perfection, but it's about courage. It's about empathy and the grace, to keep on growing even, when the path gets difficult. And to our fellows, remember that Miss Rehana what she has showed us today, that you don't need the permission to lead. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. Leadership begins the moment that you decide to take a step forward with intention, authenticity, and grace. So, Ms. Rehana, you are not just a coach, but you are a treasured mentor for us. And we are so
Thank
grateful that, for your time, wisdom, and, the inspiration that you have brought to us with this session. So thank you once again. And thank you for all of those who joined us today. Keep on learning. As I always say, keep on learning, keep on growing, and keep ascending. So till next time, thank you so much, everyone.